It's a lively bunch. Good evening. How's everybody doing? It's a lively bunch tonight. It's good to see everybody. It's well, the clock says 7 o'clock, but I bet it's 6 o'clock. So glad you're here. We do not have a youngin tonight, so I will call the meeting to order, and we'll move on. I don't even have my agenda here. I know we're going to move on to.
We'll use mine.
No, I've got
Here.
There we go. So we'll move on to the roll call.
Matthews?
Here.
Ingalls? Flood?
Here.
Bolt?
Here.
Rutherford?
Here.
Seahorn?
Here.
Richter?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much. Let's see, we'll do invocation. I think Lexi Large is going to do that. Lexi runs FCA around these parts. How are you, Lexi?
I'm good. How are you?
Great.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, I just thank you so much for tonight, Lord, and I just thank you for this meeting, God. I just pray that this meeting would go smoothly, Lord, and I just ask that you bless everyone in this room. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you so much. Let me in the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, item 1, very cool thing here. Recognition of Lieutenant George Stafford's graduation from the 283rd session of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, National Academy. So if Lieutenant Stafford will meet me down here by the podium, we will do that. All righty. Very cool thing here. We have certificate of recognition on the 7th day of November 2022 to Lieutenant George Stafford on behalf of the city of Shawnee to acknowledge his graduation from the 283rd session of Federal Bureau of Investigation, National Academy. And hopefully you tell us a little bit more about that, because this is a really cool thing here. I'm going to let you hold that up. And maybe we can get closer. If you're going to get a photo, get a good photo. And I'll move out of the way and make it even a better photo. If you would, tell us all about this, because this is a really cool thing.
It was an amazing experience. It was a 10-week long upper management leadership courses, and got to meet officers from all over the country, 49 states, 25 different countries, and we got to just share our networking experiences and everything, and realize that everybody's basically dealing with the same thing, no matter what state you're in, and got some good contacts and good ideas and different things to bring back. So it was a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, item 2 tonight is citizen participation. 1, 2, 3 names it looks like. So same as always, 3-minute limit per person, 12 minutes per topic. Joe's going to be our timekeeper. You may hear responses in commissioners' comments, so stick around to the end. Let's say first up tonight is Teresa Cody. So Ms. Cody, the microphone is all yours. How are you doing this evening? Great.
Commissioners and Mayor, I would like to give my time to Rob Morris, please.
All righty. How's Rob tonight?
Good evening. Tonight, what I gave you, the 2 pages, is the financial disclosure that everyone on this commission is supposed to do once a year, whether it was an appointment or whether you're elected, assuming there wasn't one for the previous fiscal year. When I did a public information request, only one has been done. One, period. Not one per year, one. And even the one that was done didn't list property, didn't list anything other than checked a bunch of boxes and signed it. So I'd like to read you a couple things from that. Number one, I understand as an elected officer as defined above, I am required to comply with the rules of the Oklahoma Ethics Commission applicable to non-state officers concerning filing and contents of financial disclosure statements, and that, according to the Supreme Court, those rules have the weight of statute. For us lay people, that's the weight of law. I understand the purpose of financial disclosure is to assist elected officers in identifying and disclosing excuse me, potential conflicts of interest between their public duties and private economic interests. Next, I understand an initial financial disclosure statement is to be filed with the municipal clerk within 30 days of assuming office for a full or partial term covering the prior calendar year if it does not already exist for the prior calendar year. And the last one off of this little checkbox, I understand that pursuant to Title 19, I may seek advice from the district attorney or his or her assistants concerning my duties as an elected officer. Can't talk to the city attorney about it. It's your own personal problems. Doesn't have anything to do with the city. Lastly, and this is what you sign and acknowledge. By signing, electronic or otherwise, my name below, I acknowledge that the information submitted is complete, true, and accurate as of the date submitted. I understand the failure to provide such time by filing an amended I understand that I can update the information above at any time by filing an amended financial disclosure. So, you might ask, why did I read this stuff to you? Well, like I said before, I asked for the records and got nothing. And well, right now I should see 2, 2, 2, 4, 4, 4, and 1 for the newly elected. Should have been already done. Right now, we're in a blackout with the Ethics Commission till Wednesday. So you're safe till Wednesday. I can't talk to them. They won't talk to anybody else. Another reason, this is how we find out what boards you're on, what property you own, what your job is, what your dependents, what they have in common. So we know if you should be voting or not. And I've brought it up quite a few times that y'all vote and it's been a conflict of interest. Now we'll get to see what people outside of Shawnee thinks about it. Next. Let's see. When you look at who's subject to the Financial Disclosure Act, it's this right here. Basically, it says if you have a population of greater than 10,000 or a general fund expenditure greater than 10 million, you have to fill one of these out. We have both of those. Now, the second part for B does actually say that a city can create its own campaign ordinances and the enforcement of, to which the Ethics Commission no longer applies and they don't get to enforce anything. However, city code right here says we are to follow state law when it comes to election proceedings. This is the charter. It was section 11. I believe it was article 9, if I remember right. So what's the deal? Why haven't we been filling out these financial disclosures like we're supposed to? I mean, this is a lot bigger than anybody in Shawnee, and y'all should have been doing them every year. And it's not the city's job either to make you do them. They're only the custodians of the document. That's all they can do. It even says that in the Ethics Commission's rules, that they can't come ask you for them. It's your responsibility to put it there. Last, and this is the very last thing I have for tonight, can somebody please explain the new POGO? Because we already know that we never really were a Blue Zone certified city because we never had a marquee project. Now apparently we have POGO and Blue Zones is altogether gone completely. So what happened? I mean, we still Blue Zone certified, or we just decided to steal their ideas and run with it? With that, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. All righty, next up is Rick Young. Mr. Young, the microphone's all yours. How are you doing tonight, Rick?
I'm doing good. It's a difficult act to follow, but I am Rick Young, Ward 3 longtime stakeholder. Tonight I wanted to give some congratulations and condolences, a little bit of encouragement. First off, the congratulations to the Shawnee High School class of 1977 on their 45th reunion this weekend. Function at Shawnee High School, and then the function on Saturday at the largest tabernacle of hope in Pottawatomie County. We know that as the Grand. Also, congratulations to the committee who was able to limit that young man that just spoke to half his time with only one meeting a month. Just want to insert that. Thirdly, those that were on the committee for the Monsters on Main Street, a successful program. I know there's a switch there from from the two Monsters on Main from the original CEF project that was there before. Also, I want to congratulate Pogo and their launch and their branding was there. It's quite exciting. We are looking for forward things to come from that. I might want to answer Rob as to what happened and what took place, but anyway, that's good progress. I also want to thank Tom Coffey in the photography, also Ken Landry at the Potomac County Historical Society. If somebody else saw my post this morning, for the Loch Ness Monster image that was found, you don't know what that is? That is the image of Dunbar High School and its property, 1920 aerial shot. There's also some other things that's in there that's pretty interesting for those of you that want to check that out. I also want to do this. I want to encourage every legal citizen to vote on tomorrow, if you haven't already voted, to exercise your constitutional right. And here's one thing that we might want to clarify. To save the constitutional federal republic. We do not have a democracy. Founding fathers said no democracy for the United States of America. So let's just clean that dog up here tonight from an old high school government teacher. Last thing, Go Wolf 77, and I have one shameless plug, and that is this. I have an international company that's landing in November, and I'll just leave it right there because of some of the NDA that I'm under, but you will see it, and you heard it here first in Shawnee, America. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All righty, item 3, consider approval of the consent agenda. Anything anybody would like to pull out?
3A.
3A. All righty. We have a motion on, anybody got anything else you want to pull out? If not, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
No, second.
I'm guessing that's for everything but 3A.
Everything but 3.
Thank you, sir.
3A.
All righty. And Travis, motion to approve and a second, everything but A under 3, then we'll call that question. Motion passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0. All righty. Now we need a motion on 3A.
Move to approve 3A.
Thank you, sir.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for approval of item 3A. We'll call the question. Motion passes 1, 2, 3, 5 in favor and 1 abstention. Item 4 is presentation by Animal Control Pet of the Week. We do not have a pet, I understand, so we will move on to item 5, consideration and purchase of vehicles from Vance County Ford under state contract in the amount of $244,728. And Mr. Schmidt is up. How are you tonight, Brad?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good.
So this purchase would replace 4 aging, maintenance-intensive vehicles that we have in the Public Works fleet currently.
All righty. Any questions for Brad? How about a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
Boy, that was fast down here somewhere. I think it was Darren and Daniel. Quick draw down there. All righty. We have a motion and a second for approval of item 5. We'll call the question. Motion passes 6-0. Item 6, consideration of an agreement to partner with Shawnee Housing Authority for the mental health assistance portion of the CDBG-CV2 grant awarded by the Oklahoma Department of Commerce. And Mr. Harkins up. How are you, Ryan?
I'm good, sir. Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, as mentioned, this is an agreement using our COVID relief funds through the CDBG program to help the Shawnee Housing Authority provide mental health assistance to its residents. Out of the $1.1 million in the CV2 grant that we were awarded, we've budgeted just over $175,000 for this project. This will be designed to help provide expanded internet infrastructure in their facilities, their buildings, as well as provide necessary equipment for them to provide mental health assistance to their residents. It's a unique way of using funds, but it's a very vital need and provides them an opportunity to help their residents in an additional way. With that, I would be happy to answer any questions.
Anybody got questions? If not, how about a motion?
Move to approve item 6.
Thank you, sir.
No second.
Daniel and Travis. All righty, we have a motion and a second to approve item 6. We'll call the question. Motion passes 6-0. Item 7, consideration of agreement with Dunnington Consulting and Latham Consulting for governmental and community affairs. And Mr. Foose is up. How are you, sir?
Doing well, Mr. Mayor. How are you?
Doing great.
Good. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This item is to renew an agreement with Dunnington Consulting and Latham Consulting. The City Commission first entered into the agreement last October, and city staff has found that very valuable over the last year in engaging with elected officials and working on different policies. With that, I do want to note that the attachment in the agenda packet had last year's agreement. We've provided the current year agreement on the dais for you. City staff recommends approval, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
I got questions. Well, it's funny, the timing, because I think I asked you just the other day about how you thought that was going. It sounds like it's going well.
I actually have a question.
All right, go right ahead.
I was just curious if you could explain a little bit more to me, like what in the past year we've, as a city, gained from it, like specific relationships or anything that I can research later on.
Yes, during the legislative session, we meet with them weekly on Fridays to go over any legislation that's in the works and that the city needs to be aware of. Oklahoma Municipal League also provides that service, but keep in mind that that's a statewide approach, and this provides a very Shawnee-specific focus. They do work hand in hand with OML, so it's a great partnership. They've assisted us with meetings with the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, executive leadership, throughout the ARPA grant application process, of which we're receiving $9.9 million, and it's been very beneficial.
Okay. I wrote like a third of that, but I'll get there. It was really fast. Thank you.
Thank you.
I've got a motion. Or if we have more questions. No? Okay.
Move to approve item 7.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
And Darren. All righty, motion and second for approval of item 7. We'll call the question. Motion passes 6-0. Item 8 is an administrative report, and Andrea is up. This should be very interesting.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I cannot believe we're already at the administrative reports. We had such a short list of action items this evening. As you know, Shawnee needs a new wastewater treatment plant to replace our 40-year-old and our 70-year-old treatment facilities. The project has been in the planning and design stages now for several years. However, only with the recent bid the city received did we find out that in order to pay for the cost of the new wastewater treatment plant, either a utility improvement fee or a sales tax would have to be implemented. Today's presentation is designed to provide a brief overview of the reasons for and potential impact of a proposed sales tax increase on which the voters in Shawnee will decide on January 10, 2023. At this time, the City of Shawnee operates 2 sewer treatment facilities. The South Side Wastewater Treatment Plant was first constructed in 1952. The facility is now 70 years old, and the most recent updates were completed 33 years ago. The treatment process is a trickle filter system, of which there are only very few remaining throughout the state of Oklahoma. The South Side plant has long outlived its design life, as you can imagine, at 70 years. The treatment process used at the facility requires extensive pumping. Key mechanical equipment and systems are obsolete and result in excessive operation and maintenance costs, as well as increased personnel efforts. In addition, various treatment components have cracks, leaks, and other structural issues. The North Side wastewater treatment plant was constructed in 1982. The facility is now 40 years old, and the most recent update was made 26 years ago. The North Side operates an activated sludge treatment system, and just like the South Side plant, it has outlived its design life. Additional enhancements within the current footprint of the North Side facility would not be as cost-effective as building a new plant, which also offers long-term expansion capabilities. You may ask, why do we need a new plant now? In short, doing nothing is not an option in light of the age of both of those treatment facilities. Doing nothing would likely incur escalating enforcement action by state and even federal agencies. If the current wastewater treatment plants and processes were to fail, fines could be assessed by the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality and by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. The typical course of action would be a consent order, which requires the city to complete upgrades on a schedule determined by either the state or the federal agency. Even more important are the potential risks of harm to the public health and environment. Again, if the current wastewater treatment plants or processes were to fail, the health and safety of our citizens and businesses would be at risk. The consequence of a failure to plan for and implement timely improvements and replacement of outdated and at-risk wastewater treatment facilities is highlighted by a number of events that have occurred in other states and cities. Just to name a few: Baltimore, Maryland, Clatts County, Oregon, Seattle, Washington. And similarly to those sewer crises, there are a couple of crises affecting drinking water, such as the one in Jackson, Mississippi, and of course everybody knows about Flint, Michigan, and the fallout of that. Knowing that the city of Shawnee would have to improve and update its treatment facilities, the city was able to secure low-interest funds from the Oklahoma Water Resources Board in 2019 and 2021, based on conceptual estimates. The loan funding is available for this wastewater treatment plant project. However, in the current economic climate, the August 1, 2022 bid for the wastewater treatment plant project came in with a significantly higher amount than expected. The city immediately worked to secure a third Clean Water State revolving fund loan from OWRB. However, to obtain this third tranche of funding, the City Commission voted on August 15 to implement a graduated utility improvement fee, which is pledged to pay this loan. With a third loan secured, I am glad to report that the Shawnee wastewater treatment plant project is now underway, and it will be completed in 2025. Now, the City Commission also understood the significance of a new utility improvement fee and its potential impact on all of the households within the City of Shawnee who would have to pay this fee. Therefore, you, the City Commissioners, have asked that voters be given the choice and the opportunity to decide whether they would prefer this fee or a sales tax option. The utility improvement fee is set to begin on March 1, 2023. The fee would have a maximum rate of $24 per month, which equates to $288 per year for every utility customer. This fee would be in addition to all other charges and fees, but it would not be subject to our annual CPI adjustment. A half-cent sales tax increase would replace this new utility improvement fee. The proposed 0.5% sales tax would be paid by all, including residents, businesses, and visitors, whenever a taxable purchase is made in Shawnee city limits. If approved by the voters, the half-cent sales tax would go into effect on April 1 and eliminate the utility improvement fee. To directly compare these two options, a Shawnee household would have to spend $4,800 in taxable purchases to pay the equivalent of the $24 in the utility fee. You may ask, are there no other funding mechanisms? This is a question that we've heard several times over. Why is the city not using ARPA funding, for example? The answer is that the $8.3 million that the city was allotted in ARPA funding is not enough to complete the wastewater treatment plant project, which will cost $117 million in total. Even when you add the $9.9 million award in state ARPA funding we just received, that would still fall short of the cost of the project itself. This is also an excellent time to remind everybody that as a 128-year-old city, we have a lot of old infrastructure. While having the brand new wastewater treatment facility will set us up nicely for the next several decades, simultaneously we are grappling with 241 miles of water and 193 miles of sewer lines, of which a combined 150 miles are 50 years or older. Overly dry or wet weather or significant freeze cycles may cause the ground to shift and typically result in water and sewer line breakages. Over the past 5 years, the city experienced around 100 breaks per year, sometimes less, sometimes more, depending on how the freeze cycles go. Knowing that we have approximately 30 of those locations which are frequently recurring, the ARPA funding will be invested in water and wastewater line replacements in those key locations, and that will benefit the entirety of the water distribution and sewer collection systems. Returning to the topic of the pending sales tax vote, you may have some additional questions. If the 0.5% sales tax is approved, the city will then pledge the revenue source to the Oklahoma Water Resources Board for the term of the $65.6 million third loan, which is estimated to continue through the year 2053. With this pledge, the city must first utilize the tax revenue to satisfy the annual debt service to OWRB. After paying the third loan installments, any collection surplus of the house and sales tax could be used to satisfy the debt service on the other two loans that were previously taken out. Additional surplus tax collection not used for loan repayment would be invested in critical infrastructure improvements, whose selection would be guided by capital improvement program policies that are currently under development. Similar to the fee option, the proposed half-cent sales tax does not have an end date. The half-cent sales tax would continue and thereby provide permanent funding for those critical infrastructure needs, including water, wastewater, and roadway infrastructure. These investments will support schools, business, and our residents alike. Why no end date? Again, that question has been posed a few times now. Current funding levels are not sufficient to significantly improve water, wastewater, and roadways. The sales tax increase would provide sustained funding to work towards that state of good repair that we're aiming for. That state of good repair for critical infrastructure would include the wastewater collection, water distribution, and our roadway system. As mentioned before, potential projects to which this half-cent sales tax would be applied would be vetted through a newly developed capital improvement program process. If the sales tax is approved by voters, the municipal sales tax rate would rise from 3.5% to 4.0%. This increase is equivalent to 1/2 of 1 penny for every dollar in taxable purchases. Among neighboring communities, a municipal sales tax rate of 4.0% would tie Shawnee with McLeod and Stillwater, and remain below the municipal sales tax rates of Midwest City, Norman, and Oklahoma City. From previous presentations, you may remember that the current combined sales tax rate is 9.495% in Shawnee, which consists of 4.5% for the state of Oklahoma, 1.495% for Pottawatomie County, and 3.5% for the city of Shawnee. With the proposed increase, the new combined sales tax rate would be 9.995%, just under 10, which again would tie Shawnee with McLeod, but also put the city at a higher level than some of the nearby towns of Bethel Acres, Earlsboro, Macomb, Pink, Tecumseh, and Gwinnett. There are portions of this combined tax rate that are scheduled to change over the coming years. In 2026, the 2016 Pottawatomie County temporary 0.495 sales tax will expire. Similarly, in 2028, the 2018 City of Shawnee temporary 0.5% sales tax for specific capital improvements is also set to expire. Unless these temporary sales taxes are renewed by the voters, the combined sales tax rate would drop to 8.995% by 2028. And I understand that this is a very high-level overview of the reason for the sales tax as well as potential impacts thereof. For this very reason, city staff has created a webpage that is dedicated to the sales tax vote itself, which has a quick overview that was also available to the public as a handout, and of course an extensive FAQ that was compiled based on some of the feedback and some of the questions we've already heard. Over the next few weeks, city staff will work with media outlets and civic groups to engage the public on this very important question as it directly pertains to their household expenses. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions? Pretty thorough. Yep.
Is there something going out in the utility bill mail?
That is
system yet?
correct. We created a one-page flyer that has both a very quick overview of what is being asked and the difference between the utility improvement fee and the sales tax, and a shortened FAQ with just some of the most frequently asked questions on it.
And then one of the slides, surplus tax revenue could repay the first and second loans. Is that the plan?
Again, the way the proposition reads is that it has to be used for the purpose of capital infrastructure. We would have to pledge it to the repayment of the third loan from OWRB, but it is also it can also be used for the payments of debt incurred for such capital improvements. So yes.
Any other questions? Anybody? I guess not. Very good. Thank you so much. Very informative. Item 9 is new business.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Commissioner comments. I think we started down this way last time. How about we start down with you, Daniel?
Yeah, just encourage everyone to vote tomorrow. If you didn't get in early voting, 7 to 7, and lots of important races on the ballot. So wherever you fall on those issues, just make sure you get out and use your voice. I want to welcome our friends tonight from Leadership Shawnee. Got to spend a little time with them today, and appreciate all of your desire to be engaged and learn and help our community grow. So thanks for being here tonight. Congratulations to Lieutenant Stafford. What a cool thing, and our police department continues to make us really proud of all that they're doing and can continue to grow. Thought the funding for mental health is so important and a great opportunity for us to do tonight. And again, excited to approve our consulting agreement. A community our size certainly needs that kind of representation. Played a key role in us being awarded the $9.9 million of ARPA funding, so it's a good investment, and to keep Shawnee on the map and in the important conversations in Oklahoma City. So that's all I got for tonight.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
I also would like to just echo the congratulations to Lieutenant Stafford. That's absolutely amazing that we continue to have amazing men and women of our police force that continue to not only just to do things for our city, but to continue to improve themselves because of their desire to create a safer, just a safer, better environment for all of their fellow officers as well. So thank you for Chief for allowing your people to do that, and then thank you for taking the opportunity to become better officers. That's amazing. I'm super thankful for the continued detailed work that that happen whenever we see these reports. It kind of seems like we just kind of sit up here and don't respond, and it's not because we don't. It's because there's really not a lot to talk about once they explain everything, because they do such a really, really good job of walking through all the things that we could ask. And so I'm very, very thankful. And the fact, too, that our citizens can go back through and look at it and try and find other information that they miss, because sometimes it is hard when you're rolling through all that to see all those things. So it's really exciting to see all that. Gosh. Just one of the things that I really was really excited about the success of Monsters on Main. That was a great event to be part of. So many families downtown and so many good things. I need to officially make an apology to our fantastic friends from CEF. In promoting Monsters on Main last week, I misspoke and said that the carnival was brought to us by Shawnee Forward, and that was not the case. Shawnee Forward are fantastic, amazing folks, but it was our fantastic, amazing folks from CEF that brought us the carnival. So thank you all so much for working so hard and for being part of that and for bringing that to us. The Christmas parade is on its way. We're really excited about what that's going to be and look like, and that is something that our city does so well, and we're very, very, very excited about the upcoming Christmas parade. So look forward to that. So, and I think that's all I have, sir.
All right, very cool. Mr. Vice Mayor.
Well, you guys did a great job covering my list. Appreciate that. Also want to congratulate Lieutenant Stafford. That's fantastic. They got to do that. Thanks, Chief, for getting him to go, and that's awesome. Leadership, Shawnee. Glad you guys are all here. I've got to meet some of you. Every year when this class takes place, you meet somebody new, and been here my whole life and know most of the businesses or think you do, and then here's a leadership class, and it's like, oh, you worked where? I didn't know that. Oh, here's another connection. So it's a great program. Glad you guys are here. Everyone, remember to vote tomorrow. That's going to be very important. And Community Renewal, want to thank them for Monsters on Main, first time, very successful. Appreciate all you did to get that put on, and looking forward to the Christmas parade.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Everybody's going over everything. First thing is everybody needs to get out and vote. And then congratulations to Mr. Stafford. On another note, I very seldom get to interact with some of the staff, or really more so Brad's group. Blue Peak bored through one of my service lines at the business, and there were 4 young men that came out, really professional. A couple of them had only been there a couple months. One of the guys had been there a couple years, but they did a really good job, cleaned up afterwards, washed down the street, far exceeded what I thought was going to be there after they left. So the good group. That's about all I got.
Okay. If in case you didn't know, tomorrow you can go vote, so that's all I'll say about that, because everyone else has done it. That was the first one, and you guys had it. I wanted to welcome, I got to meet her tonight, the new public information officer. Thank you for choosing Shawnee. I look forward to seeing what you have to offer, what you bring to Shawnee, my hometown. I encourage everyone, I know we've done months and months of research leading up to the election tomorrow, but start now, if you haven't already, learning and researching about the sales tax election in January. It's going to go by like that, and we're going to be voting. We've got the holiday season and a lot of food and family to consume. So we need to, I encourage that as a teacher. I encourage you to start learning as much as you can now, because from what all I've been given in the last 6 months, I've still got a lot to learn myself as far as a voter. Let's see, thank you for the admin report on such topic. I'll look through that some more later. And I also want to, this is going to be, there it is. Thank you, Rob, for bringing me a copy of the disclosure agreement and making sure that we're held accountable as elected representatives. And that's all I've got.
All right, thank you, ma'am. I don't have a whole lot. Monsters on Main was amazing. It always blows me away that many people can get into downtown and where they park and everything. But there was a lot of folks there, and you guys did a really good job with that. So thank you so much for that. Friday, we've got a neat happening in the downtown area, the Gold Star family's monument unveiling, which will be over at Woodland Veterans Park at 11 a.m. So that's Friday the 11th. And there's a reception following that in the Municipal Auditorium. It's a really cool thing that's being added to our park up there to, give credit to Gold Star families. What a sacrifice they've made, and I really appreciate that we're going to be doing this to honor them. So, if you guys can be there, I know they'd really appreciate that. I'll say it again, please go vote tomorrow. It's the end of our voting season. It used to be we had one day. Now we've got quite a period of time you can actually vote, but this works so much better if we all go participate. So please go do that if you haven't done that so far. Another cool thing happened lately was our Love Your Block grant folks got to go attend a neat gathering in Baltimore with Johns Hopkins University. I can't wait to hear all about that. I did see Johns Hopkins post something on Facebook about the training class they were putting in for all the cities that are participating in this, and I was glad to see our folks sitting front row. So I cannot wait to hear what you guys learn there. Again, I'd like to congratulate Lieutenant Stafford for his accomplishment. Very cool getting to go do that at with the FBI, and I know that'll bring a lot back to our community. And I also want to welcome Marcy, our new PIO, and we're so happy to have you here and anxious to start working and getting all the good news out. See, the only other thing I had is that, Rob mentioned questions about Pogo. Man, I would get down and talk with them. If you, we can't answer those questions. You need to go answer them, ask them. They had a really nice event down there at the Citizen Potawatomi Arena. Was it about a week or so back? And that would have been a great opportunity to go hear what was going on and actually talk to them. But they're right down the street. I would go visit with them if you have questions about them. Welcome, Shawnee Forward folks, leadership class. Good to see you guys, and always like when we have a big crowd. So good to see all the faces. All righty. I think we are to the end of our commission meeting, and we will move on to Airport Authority. Item 1, consider approval of consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Thank you, sir.
And I'll second.
Daniel and Travis. All righty, we have a motion and a second for approval of item 1. We'll call the question. Passes 6-0. Item 2 is new business.
No new business, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned and we'll move on to municipal authority. Item 1 is consider approval of consent agenda.
Move to approve.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you very much, Daniel and Darren. We will call the question or approval of item 1. Motion passes 6-0. Item 2, consider a resolution of the Shawnee Municipal Authority ratifying executed cooperative purchase agreements. Mr. Foose is up. How are you again, sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. This item is identical to the one we had at the last commission meeting.
Mhm.
However, that was for the city of Shawnee. This is for the Shawnee Municipal Authority. It will accompany the next agenda item, which will allow the city to continue utilizing cooperative purchasing agreements. Staff recommends approval of the item, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? You must have explained it really well.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Thank you, sir.
I'll second.
And Darren. Okay, we have a motion and a second, and our city attorney is up.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A resolution of the Shawnee Municipal Authority ratifying executed cooperative purchasing agreements.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of item 2. We'll call the question. Motion passes 6-0. Item 3, consideration or resolution, the Shawnee Municipal Authority approving the purchase of root control services from Duke's Root Control, Inc. under the cooperative purchase agreement with Houston Galveston Area Council. And Brad is up again.
Yes, so this program is a preventative or proactive treatment for roots that have already entered the clay lines, but that this system, this application will kill and stop new growth, further extending the useful life of those lines until we can get them replaced. This purchase would allow us to do approximately 55,000 linear feet in the southern portion or the older infrastructure of the city.
All righty. Any questions? How about a motion? We have no questions.
I'll make a motion we approve, sir.
Thank you very much.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second, so Joe's up.
Mr. Mayor, a resolution of the Shawnee Municipal Authority approving the purchase of root control services from Duke's Root Control Incorporated under the cooperative purchasing agreement with Houston Galveston Area Council.
Thank you, sir. All right, we have a motion and a second for approval of item 3. We'll call the question. Motion passes 6-0. Item 4 is new business.
No new business.
Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned. It's time to go home. It's almost record time.